always get appreciated no matter what, just because the stuff they do is revolutionary or different. If you're lucky enough, you get to live through those times that your new art form becomes appreciated by more people. The mural behind me was made, we made this back in 2022 for the Jalen Green visit in Manila. Adidas Philippines sponsored us to paint these walls. We were given 1.5 weeks, and I chose to do it with my friends from Filipino Street Plan and Hidden Fortress Manila. So we did a lot of these artworks within 9 days through the rain. The thing we love most about it is Adidas Philippines gave us the freedom to do whatever we wanted to do. So we basically represented ourselves through our own characters and our own names written on the walls. Their only request was for us to make a tribute to Jalen Green, who was visiting us. So that's what we did. And we also painted the special car that our friend Kevin Carlos made just for the event. Impossible is Nothing Sylvia car that you can see in one part of the mural. So when I was in college, during the early years of the internet, 1999, 2000, 2001, I was exposed to a lot of the graffiti culture in the States and in Europe. Back then, there wasn't any graffiti scene in the Philippines, so you could say that I was like a super frustrated graffiti artist because I didn't have access to the culture yet. After 10 years, I started seeing that there were local artists emerging already in Manila. And I was fortunate enough to meet Egg Fiasco, Trip Martinez, Chill, and Bato back in 2012. And ever since then, I became friends with them, and I was able to learn about the techniques they use. Because it takes a different art skill to master how to use the spray paint as a medium instead of using the paintbrush. That was a different skill set that I needed to learn on my own and through their guidance. I had fun immersing myself into the graffiti culture, which I already had passion for since early 1999. But like what I said, I only had access through the culture 10 years after. The scene here is still very young, but there are a lot of really talented artists in the Philippines. So it's very natural to see a lot of really great painters in the Philippines. As great as you can see in the traditional art scene, if you look at the graffiti art culture here in the Philippines, it reflects the same amount of talent that the Filipinos naturally have. It's quite an easy transition for natural-born artists to do graffiti if they wanted to. My brother and I grew up as children watching weekend cartoons that we would see on local channels. And these would be mainly Voltes 5, Daimos, Bioman and the like. And of course, Transformers. And then through the 90s, Gundam and Evangelion. I had a natural love for Japanese robot. Me being an artist early on, I was also experimenting on creating my own robots. So Tech 63, my character right now that I paint a lot on walls, is heavily influenced by all of these Japanese robot cartoons that I used to watch as a kid. The filmmaker and the fact that Akira Kurosawa films influenced a lot George Lucas when he was developing Star Wars. So if you'd see Episode 4, A New Hope, it's heavily based on The Hidden Fortress and his other movies in terms of style. Even the name Hidden Fortress is also relevant to me. So Ghost of Kurosawa as a character is a combination of Star Wars, Darth Vader face, and Akira Kurosawa's samurai film, it's Seven Samurai, and a little bit of World War II influences too, which also directly influenced George Lucas in making Star Wars. So it's a whole mixture of influences, but basically it revolves around Star Wars and George Lucas. It's more of the fact that I wanted to represent myself into a character. The formula I had was just to embody all of the biggest influences I had as a kid. I really love hip-hop, I really love graffiti art, and I really love Japanese robots. If you see my characters, it's always a combination of these three subcultures combined. Art toys, I think, basically started with the movement in Hong Kong, like Alex So and Michael Lau. They were the first artists to create their own toys. And I would see their art figures in Mega Mall during the early 2000s in American Boulevard, this hip-hop shop in Mega Mall. And I've always dreamt of like creating my own version someday. That was early 2000. But I think designer art toy scene is very young. It started in the early 2000s and it caught up in the States, I'd say mid-2000s, with the growth of companies like Kid Robot. They were the forerunners in the art toy culture back then. With most hyped up products, I think the Philippines always follows the trends of the Americans. So we were kind of late in appreciating art toys, but with most countries, it always starts with commercial toys that you'd see in Toy Kingdom. And then eventually, when they get exposed to like the likes of Bear Bricks and Paws, it naturally follows that they get attracted to local artists who create their own toys too. So I guess it's a natural progression for us. We're not like the last or the last to get into it. Actually, I think Dubai is only starting to appreciate art toys right now, and a lot of countries don't even know much about it. I think we're ahead in terms of that as a country, and there's a lot of growth left for more people to appreciate self-made art toys by artists. One of the most integral foundations I had for my art career was to never follow the norm. Like I grew up being exposed to artists that had a specific direction of creating a name for yourself through gallery shows and doing paintings, and then repeating the cycle all over again. And on the side, getting art commissions from private collectors. I wanted to show, I guess, a new path for people to take, especially now that there's social media. I kind of wanted to send a message that you can do things on your own, and that's why I'm only loyal to one specific gallery in the Philippines that's the only gallery that I hold shows, which is Secret Fresh, owned by Big Boy Cheng. But besides that, I really wanted to show artists that there are several paths for you to take to make a career out of art. That's why I chose the medium of doing designer toys, because it was something that's highly unusual for artists to do. Something that hasn't been done in the Philippines. So I guess I was fortunate enough to be able to go all in on it, being one of the firsts. Although I'm not the first, a lot of other Filipino artists also started making their own toys, but I guess I was the one who was stuck to people's heads the most. That's why we were also able to attract the other brands to work with us. As an artist, and I guess as a brand, I really get excited working with people that have something new to bring into the table, or something creative challenge that is presented to me, that I get to practice my graphic design skills as well. So we have a lot in store for the future.